From a high school shop tour to Society of Plastics Engineers Mold Technologies Division 2026 Apprentice of the Year, sponsored by PCS, Sarah Morgan's rise at R&D Leverage shows what initiative and the right opportunity can build. Here's her story. All right, Sarah Morgan with Adler, who just won the Society of Plastics Industries Mold Technology Division's 2026 Apprentice of the Year Award. How does it feel?
It's pretty cool. It's been a very unique experience and pretty surreal because I didn't know anything about it. Like, I knew my manufacturing manager was like trying to get some training records and stuff like that, and I'd assumed it was for an audit or something else, and that it wasn't, to be up for getting an award. And
how did they tell you?
They sent me an email and I didn't even register. Like, I kind of glimpsed over it, but we get phishing and spam emails, so I was, skeptical and wasn't gonna get too far into it. So then my manufacturing manager came out and he's like, "Did you get an email from Scott Peters?" And I was like, maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll have to go read that. So I read it over, and the first thing I said is, I get to go to Chicago. And I was just like, didn't know what was going on, but yeah, it was super cool.
Were you surprised about what they had in there? Like, did you get to read the nomination form?
Yeah, and it's I read it over a couple of times, and it took the second read to realize that it was saying nominations from around the world, and then telling me being able to kind of meet and greet with all others who are a part of the awards afterwards and stuff like that was super cool.
That's wonderful. So, you got to tell me, you're young, you're a female, we're in manufacturing, you're working for Adler. How did you get into this?
It's kind of a long story of just, I have family that are all kind of in the blue collar manufacturing world, and so it's something I'm kind of comfortable stepping my foot into. So I was just kind of grinding bad shots of plastic for a company that was like a family friend. And when I was employed there, that's when I took a tour through R&D, just like a manufacturing day in high school, and they were trying to get kids more interested in blue collar working and trying to fill that gap of in between all the, there's 50-year-old, mold makers, and then there's the new up and coming. And I took a walk through there and was like, well, it's, it has more to it than just grinding plastic all day. And so I tried that, and I'm still there after 3 years.
So what was the specific process or piece of machinery? What did you see at R&D that you were like, oh gosh, this is not what I thought it was, or I want to go down that avenue?
It was a lot of the CNC. I mean, when it comes to apprenticeship, obviously a lot of it's they like you to get through a lot of things, And I've not really been a big computer numerated control, just because I started with a mentor that put me on manual mill and lathe. So it's just kind of, I believe any machinist that starts on a whatever machine ends up liking that more. So since that was kind of in my mind, my route, going through the apprenticeship, having to discover EDM and CNC work and all that, it's just kind of bumps in the road. But I have to also be able to answer questions being a toolmaker of that CNC work, so I have to understand all of it.
All of it, the whole process, which is,
yes.
Are you any interest in design, or do you like the shop floor aspect?
Yeah, I definitely would have an interest in it. It would be something I'm not completely interested in until another 10, maybe 20 years, something where I am more wanting to sit down and use more of my mental than my physical.
Interesting.
I just like the hands-on and
that's
working.
Odd, right?
Yeah. I like being hands-on and talking with all my coworkers, being able to answer questions, and the responsibility of it, I think, is kind of what has kept me there for 3 years.
And I would imagine there's always something different happening, right?
Yes, always.
So
always.
Can you run through a snapshot of a typical day?
Well, typically I start in, obviously get emails all throughout the day, checking that, and then we have a tool assignment that's always, we try and run one at a time, one that we're focusing on, while we'll have all other in production. Sometimes I try and go and see what kind of jobs are supposed to be due super soon, and I'll go through and find them in the shop, see if they're moving at all, see if they're going to be on the machine or not, so that I can tell salesmen whether to expect that job to go out on time, and then go back to my area, see what's arrived at my area. If something needs laser engraving, I also picked up doing that, because it's a last step.
A good one. Yep.
It's a last step of manufacturing, is the laser engrave process. And so there's been plenty of times I've been stuck with complete tooling, no laser engraving, And so then they're like, well, I guess you have to ship it tomorrow. And I'm like, no, not anymore. I'll ship it today.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the more that you take on, the more that you learn, right?
Yeah.
That's just going to move you up the chain. Do you have like a 5-year plan in mind for yourself?
Not anything too crazy. I definitely am just trying to get my bounds of kind of what it'll look like when my mentor's gone, because I've had a mentor, he's in his 70s, and he is...
Who is it? Can I ask you? Who is it at Adler?
Vern Huntsucker.
Okay.
He's
Give
in
him a shout out.
The
Vern.
ISBM area, who has been the toolmaker at at R&D for 20 years now. At the beginning, he didn't have a whole lot of responsibility, but I guess it's like 15 years of toolmaking and ISBM work. And he's taught me pretty much everything that I know.
That's
when it
quite
comes
the bond.
to, yeah, it's been pretty crazy, but eventually he's not going to be there anymore, and I'll have to be able to man a work area that he and I are both putting in 40 hours. Will eventually be something that I'll just have to figure out how to take on myself.
What is the key to that type of mentorship, do you think, for you? I mean, everyone's different.
I think it's just slowly and surely knowing like that I can be left on my own, like, you know, not having I like the mentorship to where they can say, this is kind of how you do it, and they want you to remember that, and then if you can do it yourself, they'll leave you to do that to yourself. And then, you know, if you mess up or have questions, you stop what you're doing, go find them, ask questions, or, you know, get through what you're trying to get through.
It's almost like a parent-child relationship, right? You're showing them what you know
it's
and
like
then letting
helping,
them go.
But also trying to push them off into trying to see if they can figure it out. Because if you give someone instruction enough times and they still can't do it and they have to be right next to you, then what are you going to do when you don't have a mentor anymore?
No, you don't. So that's his job.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the number one skill that somebody coming into this field, like if you were selling your position or selling Adler or mold making to somebody, what do you got to make sure that person has in terms of their personality, quality, skills?
I'd say a lot of time management, because especially, I mean, it kind of depends on what area, of course, of manufacturing you're put into, but everything is on schedule or runtime or, you know, deburring. Like everything has an amount of time and everything has a schedule. So as long as you can manage your time and what you have going on, and also just memory, being able to listen effectively, remember effectively, and then apply everything that you heard and learned, you know.
What's your knack for as you're getting taught and you're learning? What's your tool to capture that? Are you someone that's recording on your phone? Are you writing it down? How do you consume information?
I guess just kind of hands-on. I sometimes jot, like, you know, chicken scratch, write some things down. I have like a 3-ring, 3-inch binder that has R&D apprenticeship notes that I took my first year, and then ever since then it's just kind of, if I'm showed something physically in front of me, I'll pick it back up and kind of do the same. But the best part about my shop is I'll do it for you, and then I'll mess it up, and then you're gonna do it. So they'll teach me everything, like do everything for me to where I can just, you know, push a button or move a dial or something, and then before I can touch that dial or button, mess everything up, step back, and then say, okay, what did I just do?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
that's like pressure right there, right?
So it's
Figure it out.
And they don't care. They don't mind if I have to ask a question or be like, oh, I don't remember what button you clicked here, or how you got to this page, or, you know, anything like that. It's
Is
just
there a particular mistake that you've made that was a really good lesson for you?
Yeah. One of my first, because pressure testing is a big thing of assembly, and so what I've learned the hard way is air is a lot easier to clean up than water. So, yeah.
I would think so.
I had an assembly with a bunch of plugs. It's like it's a push-up assembly that molds the bottom of a bottle.
Okay.
And they all have water lines that go through them, and I have a 1/16 plug that goes in all of them, and I just went right over my head. I put it all together. I put the O-rings in it, so I mean that's still sealed.
Right.
But I didn't click the air first. I just went water, and the water's just pouring out of like 8 cavities all over me, and I'm like freaking out.
Did you
where to
immediately
stop
click?
it.
Did it click? Like
yeah,
what
I'm
I did?
like, oh my god, my plugs. I don't have plugs in. So then I had to shut it off, and now I know I use the air, and I also make sure I have plugs in. You know.
Oh my god, that's great. That's a great story.
Just stuff like that.
Do you
What are you going to do with the money, the scholarship money?
I know for the first 500, I need a bunch of new hand tools. I use the crap out of my hand tools for sure, being a tool maker. And for the other 500, I'm not really sure. I've been doing some online
Training?
think of the word. No, like business classes and stuff like that. Like if I am to go into the engineering or office side of mold making and just within the company.
Continuous learning, right?
Yeah.
You're very, very impressive. Let me ask you this. Reading what they nominated you for, did anything that they said shock you? Like that you don't see yourself that way, but now you're learning other people are seeing me a certain way?
Well, I was definitely like reading it because that's what Jeff Cooper, who wrote the nomination for me, he was like, do you want me to send it to you? And I was like, I mean, sure, if you want to. And the first page says something about write 2 to 3 paragraphs, and I look at the thing he sent in, the nomination, it was like 3 pages. And I was like, oh my gosh. And yeah, the more I read, I'm like, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's
wonderful.
all things that I do, but it's just, it's things you do on a daily basis or invited to, or just I've done for 3 years that I don't think too much of, and I just enjoy being part of my community.
It sounds like that is a common thread with the award winners. They just think they're doing their job.
Yeah.
And I think it's wonderful that you're being rewarded for that. So
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And stay in touch. I think you're going to have a wonderful career.
Fingers
and plenty
crossed.
of options.
Yes, thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks for watching. And for everything mold making, visit moldmakingtechnology.com.